I don't know how I wound up here in this place. I think it began when I was in Oklahoma, traveling across the country in my van. I can't be really sure, though, anymore. I vaguely remember going to a restaurant for a much-needed sit-down meal after having eaten only canned soup and sandwiches for who knows how long. There may or may not have been an old guy sitting in the corner just sipping coffee like old guys do. There may have been a child dressed like a monkey with his mother, I guess. It is like a dream or a memory of a dream. It feels like cotton candy in my mind. Regardless of how I got here, I am in the where at this moment. There seems to be a reason for me being here, but I cannot remember that reason. At this time, there is only darkness. The kind of darkness that you can taste but cannot truly see, like a thick film of ink all in and around my senses. When I first arrived here, I think it was all pink. There was furniture, chairs, tables, a couple of rooms, if you may call them that had beds and dressers. There was even a bathroom that was all pink tile. It was kind of nice if you like pink. I do not. Reminds me of having a sick stomach and taking bismuth. I think I recall anyway. A woman with a gash across her neck that was covered in sticky, but mostly dried, blood. It was a cut from one jugular to the other. She tried to talk to me, but I could not understand her. All she could do was make gurgling noises. I turned and walked out of the door to this house, but when I stepped out, I stepped into a field of destruction. There were men, or what was left of them, all over the ground. Some missing arms or legs, some with heads half gone. There was a smell of rotten eggs and metal hanging in the air. There was smoke rising from the ground in places as small fires were still burning the dirt. There was a horse lying on its side still breathing, but barely. The men were presumably dead, and yet some of them opened their eyes and talked to me. Those that could still talk called out for help. They begged for mercy so that they could be out of pain. They cried like children without hope. I turned to run back into the house away from this horror, but when I turned, the house was gone. In its place was a dark black pond. It was so dark you could not see into the water even an inch. I debated jumping in to get away from the cries of the men when a face appeared bobbing out of the viscous pool. The face of a child. A small girl of perhaps 7 years old. Her face was bloated and gray. Her tongue lolled to the side of her cheek. Her eyes were all white with no color. One single tear escaped her dead eyes. She did not cry out for help. She just floated like an autumn leaf on the water when it dies and falls. How did I get here? I think that I know now. The old man. The old man with the coffee in the restaurant. I think he put me here. I see now as I turn from the pond to see the floor of the restaurant. The child dressed like a monkey lies motionless alongside his mother. A waitress dressed in her pink uniform lying cold on the tile. My body. I see my body. My body is covered in blood with a bullet wound through the chest. My eyes stare blankly at the drop ceiling with the fluorescent lights. My eyes see nothing, but I can taste the darkness.